What if I told you the CIA once studied how to manifest reality? No, not in some TikTok vision board sense, but in a serious, declassified military document. A report that sat behind locked doors for years, analyzing how consciousness, frequency, and energy could bend reality itself. And here's the thing. This isn't some fringe theory. It's a report written by a U.S. Army lieutenant colonel in 1983, buried in government archives until it was quietly declassified years later. The name of that file? Analysis and Assessment of Gateway Process. It sounds dry, like something only a Pentagon desk jockey would read. But inside, it describes something wild. How the brain is like a frequency generator. How altered states of consciousness can take you beyond space and time. How reality itself may be a hologram, and you, the observer, have the power to shape it. And the craziest part? This isn't written like a New Age blog post. It's a government analysis, cold, technical, but underneath the jargon is a hidden truth. Your mind has far more power than you've been told. Chapter 1. The Gateway. Why the CIA cared about consciousness. Now, let's start with the obvious. Why the hell would the CIA care about meditation, sound frequencies, and consciousness? The answer is simple: power. Back in the Cold War, the US government believed the Soviets were investing in psychic research. Remote viewing, mind control, telekinesis, things that sound like movie scripts. But in geopolitics, no possibility can be ignored. If the enemy could see into your nuclear base without a satellite, that's not superstition. That's a threat. So, in 1983, the Army commissioned an analysis of a training program known as the Gateway Experience. It came from the Monroe Institute, a civilian research group experimenting with sound waves to alter consciousness. The Gateway promised something extraordinary: the ability to expand awareness, access higher states of mind, and even step outside the limitations of space and time. And here's the thing. The military didn't dismiss it. They took it seriously. They studied it, charted it, tried to break down the physics of how it could work. Why? Because if you can train a soldier not only to calm his mind, but to project his consciousness across space, maybe even across dimensions, that's not just self-help. That's a weapon. But here's where it gets interesting for us. Strip away the military context, and what you're left with is a blueprint for manifestation, a guide for how ordinary people can tap into extraordinary states of being. Chapter 2. The Physics of the Mind. Reality as Frequency. Okay. Deep breath. Here's the core idea in the Gateway Report. Everything is energy. You, me, the phone in your hand, the thoughts in your head, all of it vibrates. At the atomic level, we are just fields of oscillating energy. Physics has been telling us this for decades, but most of us forget it the moment we leave science class. Now, here's where the CIA analysis goes further. It says, consciousness itself, your awareness, is also a vibrational pattern. Your thoughts produce measurable frequencies, so imagine this. Your mind is not just a receiver of reality. It's also a transmitter, like a radio station, broadcasting signals into the fabric of the universe. And what happens when two frequencies line up? They sync, they resonate. That's physics 101. And this, the CIA report argues, is the secret to manifestation. When you align your brain frequencies with the reality you desire, you literally lock in with it. You stop being just an observer, and you become a participant in shaping what unfolds. This is why the report spends pages talking about holograms. To them, the universe itself is one giant holographic projection. Your consciousness interacts with it, like a drop of water hitting the surface of a pond. Ripples, patterns, influence. Now let's pause. Think about that. How many times have you had a gut feeling that later proved true? How many times did you visualize something so strongly a job, a person, an opportunity, and then it happened. That wasn't luck, that was physics, that was resonance. And the gateway process, according to the CIA, was the systematic way to harness it. Chapter 3. HemiSync, Rewiring the Brain. All right, let's talk about the method. How do you actually tap into this? The Monroe Institute developed something called HemiSync, short for hemispheric synchronization. Here's the idea. Your brain has two halves, left and right. Normally, they operate slightly out of sync. The left is logical, analytical. The right is creative, intuitive. But when you use special sound frequencies, known as binaural beats, you can get both hemispheres to synchronize, to literally hum at the same frequency. When that happens, your brain slips into altered states. Alpha waves, relaxed focus. Theta waves, deep meditation, dream state. Delta waves, deep sleep, unconscious repair. Gamma waves, higher integration, flashes of insight. The gateway process trains you to ride these waves, to consciously dip into altered states, not by accident, but by design. And here's the kicker. In those states, the mind becomes highly suggestible. Not in the sense of being hypnotized, but in the sense of being able to reprogram itself. This is where manifestation becomes real. Because when your brain is synchronized, relaxed, and highly focused, your intentions don't just bounce around as random thoughts. They sink deep, they imprint, they broadcast at a higher amplitude. Chapter 4. Escaping Time and Space. The Hologram Theory. Now let's take it further. The CIA report doesn't just stop at meditation or manifestation. It makes a much bigger claim that consciousness can actually step outside of time and space. They call it the hologram theory of the universe. Imagine reality like a giant holographic plate. Every piece of it contains the whole. Every moment, every possibility exists simultaneously. Time isn't a line, it's a landscape. And with the right state of consciousness, you can step outside your usual vantage point and see more of it. This explains phenomena like remote viewing, the alleged ability to perceive places or events far away. The CIA actually ran experiments on this. Some were laughable, some were eerily accurate. But whether or not you believe in psychic spies, here's the takeaway. If reality is a hologram and your consciousness can move through it, then your past, present, and future aren't fixed. They're accessible, influenceable. That means manifestation isn't about creating from nothing. It's about tuning yourself to the version of reality that already exists and stepping into it. Chapter 5. The Actual Techniques, How to Manifest. So, how did the gateway process teach this? The report outlines a series of steps: relaxation, deep breathing, letting go of body tension. Focus 10, the state of mind awake, body asleep. Focus 12, expanded awareness, sensing beyond the body. Focus 15, a state beyond time. Focus 21, access to other dimensions of consciousness. At each level, the practitioner learns to hold intention, to visualize, to program the mind. For example, let's say you want to manifest a specific goal. Under normal waking consciousness, your thoughts are noisy, scattered. But in Focus 12 or 15, your mind is laser sharp. The thought of your desired outcome becomes more than imagination. It becomes instruction, coded into the hologram of reality. Why monks meditate for hours. Why successful entrepreneurs often talk about seeing it in their mind before it happens. It's not magic. It's neurology meeting physics. Chapter 6. The Risks and the Skepticism. Now, I know what you might be thinking. This sounds too good to be true. And the CIA knew that too. The report openly admits not everyone can do this. Some people lack the discipline. Some resist the process because it feels strange, even frightening. There are also dangers. Go too deep without guidance, and you might dissociate. Some participants reported feeling lost,
ungrounded, even paranoid. The mind is powerful, but like any tool, it can cut both ways. And of course, there's skepticism. Did the CIA really believe in manifestation? Or were they just desperate to keep up with Soviet research? The truth is, the report reads like both. Part genuine curiosity, part bureaucratic box checking. But here's what matters. The fact that this document exists at all tells us something. The government doesn't waste resources on total nonsense. Even if 90% of the claims were exaggerated, the 10% that remained was enough to justify serious study. And for us, the takeaway is simple. The gateway process isn't about blind faith. It's about practice, experiment, test it for yourself. Chapter 7. The bigger picture. What this means for you. So let's zoom out. What does all this mean for your daily life? It means your thoughts are not powerless. Your imagination is not childish. Your consciousness is not just a byproduct of neurons firing. It's an active participant in the universe. And manifestation? It's not about wishing. It's about aligning. It's about entering a state where your intention resonates so strongly that reality itself bends to meet it. Think about it. The CIA spent taxpayer dollars trying to figure this out. Soldiers were trained, files were written. Decades later, you're hearing about it on a random night through a declassified PDF. Why? Because maybe you were meant to. Maybe this is your wake-up call to stop sleepwalking through life, to stop treating your thoughts as background noise and start treating them as instruments of creation. Your turn to step through the gateway. So here's where we end. The gateway process wasn't just a Cold War experiment. It was a roadmap, a reminder that reality is not fixed and you are not powerless. Tonight, you've heard the story, the science, the possibilities. But remember, this is not about what the CIA believed. It's about what you believe and what you're willing to practice. Close your eyes tonight and breathe. Picture the life you want, not vaguely, but vividly. Feel it. Hear it. Step into it as though it already exists. Because in the holographic fabric of the universe, it does. And if you align your mind, body, and frequency, maybe, just maybe, you'll find that the gateway isn't a military experiment. It's a door that's been waiting for you all along. The question is, will you walk through it?